Let's make history. So the Federal Reserve decided to cut interest rates by 0.5 percentage point. The economy has been slowing, and though inflation is indeed falling gradually and finally, now normally the Fed stays out of politics. They tend to, on the surface anyway, or they should be, making their decisions strictly based on the numbers, jobs reports, the trajectory of the economy, and based on that forecast is how they decide if they're going to slash interest rates or if they're going to raise them.
Every single quarter, the financial world waits with bated breath to see what the Federal Reserve will do. And today, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell announced the Fed's newest decision on setting the so-called federal funds rate, the interest rates we hear about so much in the media. Banks wait on it, investors wait on it, businesses wait on it, and thus consumers wait on it. This means that in reality, the global economy is controlled not by businesses or corporations or even legislatures. It's controlled by a select few central bank pseudo-experts who decide whether your products ought to be more or less expensive, whether your savings ought to be decreased or increased in value.
My duty is to achieve maximum employment and stable prices, and to supervise and regulate banks.
Can the president fire you?
No.
Democrats have been thirsty for the Fed to slash interest rates regardless of the cost, because they want an election in their favor. When the Fed cuts interest rates, people tend to spend more, people invest more because borrowing is cheaper. So the economy looks better, sometimes on the surface, but the economy just overall looks better, and that would be in favor of, that would help out Harris. Right now, prices are extremely high. Every time they ask Harris about it, she dodges around the question, as she does on most issues. Just gives a lot of fluff and may give like one sentence towards the end concerning the question, addressing the question rather. So they wanted to look as good as possible for her. Prices are up. Make no mistake. We all know this. Prices are up under Biden. Again, even though Harris wasn't the president, it's been said over and over by her and Biden, she has been involved in the final decision-making process of most of their administration's policies. That's why we refer to it as a Biden-Harris administration. Nobody says the Trump-Pence administration. Nobody says the Obama-Biden administration. So let's be clear on that. This is clearly a political move, and it's being touted as, oh, well, now is the time to do it because inflation is finally falling, but prices are still up. And this could be detrimental. This could be, this could affect you and I greatly. We got to keep our eyes on that. Unemployment rose to 4.3% in July, its highest since 2021. Let's talk about the situation with Israel. Israel just attacked Hezbollah. And for those that don't know, Hezbollah is the terrorist organization that pretty much kind of sort of runs Lebanon. Hezbollah are allies with Hamas. So that's why they have jumped in the fight to attack Israel. So not only is Israel fighting against Hamas in Gaza, they're also fighting against Hezbollah to the north in Lebanon. And of course, Hezbollah and Lebanon are backed by Iran, who of course is the real enemy. They're all enemies of Israel, but this whole thing is really Iran fighting Israel by way of Gaza, by way of Hezbollah. So anyway, backtrack. Because Israel was able to hack into their cell phone network, into Hezbollah's cell phone network, they started using sky paces. They actually started using beepers, Hezbollah. But you can understand that. So Israel somehow, some way, was able to plant bombs inside hundreds of pagers that were shipped to Hezbollah members from people higher up in their organization. They got the pagers, they put them on, and at some point, the pages started to get hot. So some of them took the pages out, were looking at them. All of a sudden, all the pages exploded at one time. People who took the pages out and were feeling them, looking at them to see why they were heating up, got their face blown off. And people who had the pages in their pockets actually got their genitalia blown off. 11 people died, many others injured. It's war. Hezbollah has been firing rockets into Israel and attacking them any way they can. This is war. It is a terrorist organization. Hezbollah, and quiet as it's kept, Hamas as well, do not have our best interests in mind. They don't share our philosophies of life at all. Many things, many ways, and many things that they do, and many things within their culture and how they live their life, the average American would be totally against, would be disgusted, would be furious. The acts they commit. But because of some other reason, many Americans have felt that they need to support Hamas, who's aligned with all these other terrorist groups, Hezbollah, you know, Iran, the mullahs, so forth and so on. But make no mistake, these people do not share our way of life. If they had it their way, not only will they be killing Jews, they will be killing us too. It's a complete dictatorship, and this doesn't go for Islam in its entirety. This doesn't go to every single sect of Islam, but this is the case with them. That's why they're called terrorists. They don't mind when civilians die. They purposely shield themselves behind civilians. So these are not people that are your friend. These are not people who would serve the world any good purpose aside from their own people. And they basically run as dictatorships. So there's no reason whatsoever why Americans should be jumping on the side of Hamas. I get it. Many of us do it because our heart goes out to the civilians who died. But in war, you're going to have casualties. And Israel has been, in all honesty, Israel has been getting better with minimizing the amount of civilians that are killed in their attacks. This pager attack is one of them. So, hey, we got to give them credit. I think it was a very, very, very low amount of civilians who died in this pager attack. And it was made specifically that way just to target the guilty, just to target the enemy, Hezbollah, and not affect civilians who have nothing really to do with the political conflict. There are wildfires spreading throughout Brazil. Huge chunk of Brazil is on fire, about the size of an island, reports are saying. Since the Russia-Ukraine war began till now, 1 million Ukrainians and 1 million Russians have lost their lives in that war. In Canada, Prime Minister Trudeau, who has been in power for almost 10 years, it looks like that power is beginning to wane. Finally, I am not a huge fan of Trudeau whatsoever, especially because of the fact that when the truckers had a protest because they didn't want to be forced vaccinated, he encouraged banks to freeze their accounts and to shut them down any way he could when they had a legitimate gripe. Nowhere in the Western world should a person be forced to take any sort of a medicine or a vaccine. There's an exception to every rule. COVID, however, was not one of them. In the aftermath, we saw that that vaccine was nowhere near as effective as they told us, trying to get us to take it. Many people took it. I never took it. And I'm glad I didn't. Because a lot of the reports which were touted as conspiracy theories concerning the side effects of the vaccine later came out to be true.
I actually was the one who convinced the mayor to make it a mandate.
Like New York City found out that you're having sex parties during COVID?
Yeah, it would have been a big show. Yeah, it would have been real bad. We went to some like underground like dance party like underneath a bank in Wall Street. And we were all rolling.
Now, let's just pause for a second, okay? This is Dr. Jay Varmer, former senior advisor for public health, NYC Mayor's Office, 2020 to 2021. This is right during C-19 at the very beginning, okay? And he's the one that directed policy or in some kind of way helped it go forward. He's talking about during C-19, they had to let off some steam and have a little bit of fun. So underground sex party beneath the bank on Wall Street, on drugs, everything else. Why not? So they can do that and it's fine during C-19, but you can't. Gavin Newsom, another one. Stay in your house, slow the spread, wear a mask, get vaxxed. But he's out at French Laundry having a good old time with his healthcare buddies, mind you. So they're out having dinner, no 6 foot distancing, chilling. But they want you to be in the house. They want you to be on the vax. If you get injured, oh, well, it is what it is. We got our money, so what? Let's keep on going.
We're all taking Molly and everybody's high. And I was so happy because I hadn't done that in like a year and a half, like a year or whatever. But I was looking around being like, I wonder if anybody sees me. They're going to do because this was not COVID friendly.
Yeah, not very COVID friendly at all. And I think people are seeing you right now, sir. They see you now and they don't like what you did.
The only way I could do this job for the city was if I had some way to blow off steam every now and then. You guys think about it.
Yeah, you got to, I mean, look, you got a stressful job. You got to blow off some steam. So what better way than to get high up under a bank during C-19 when you shouldn't be? What better way to do it, right?
Some of it's just something about like bodies being close to each other, right? Just being like naked with friends. It's like this because I did all this like deviant like sexual stuff while I was like like on TV and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And people are like, aren't you afraid? Aren't you embarrassed? And I was like, no, actually, I'm like really like I love being my authentic self. So the way we do it in public health is we make it very uncomfortable to be unvaccinated.
Oh, here we go about the vax.
Don't expect the education to change your behavior. I'm just gonna make it really hard for you to do your job. You can't get a job. You can't go to a restaurant. You can't go to school. It's like, I'm just gonna get vaccinated.
Leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Will Flores TV on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and X.